Alright everyone, and we're back.
新しい陣地と聖杯、それにセイバーという駒まで揃えた。これなら乗り気でない私のマスターも私の方針に異論は挟めないでしょう。
That is true. No matter how much Caster's master, Kuzuki Soichiro, stays silent, he would be forced to fight if the conditions are set so perfectly. What is more certain is that
つまらない戦いはおしまい。聖杯さえ手に入れれば恐れるものは何もない。そう、誰であろうと私を阻むことはできなくなるのですからね。
loud laughter pollutes the night. The magazine purple expresses her victory. The knight with the longsword looks up at the sky. The time is near. No matter what the end may be, only 5 days remain. Even though the remaining time will not likely be used up, the swordsman that has lived through hell feels that the match will not be settled easily. And I fall. I can't even breathe properly. The wound on my shoulder is swelling up and it hurts just to breathe. I can't keep up my consciousness. I'll fall asleep if I let my guard down. No, first of all, I'm not too sure if I'm conscious or not. I don't know how I got home from that rooftop nor why I came home. My thoughts become vague. The only sure thing is my thumping heart. Tosaka told me not to involve myself, because I'm powerless and I don't have a reason to fight anymore. But that's wrong. I knew more than anyone that I'm powerless. My reason to fight is something different. I can't let it become just a scar. Losing against others is inevitable. I'm used to being beat up, and it's vexing, but I know I can't reach them no matter what I do. But that's only when my enemy is someone else. I can't lose against myself. There's no element that would make me lose if our powers are equal. To admit defeat against such an enemy is to declare that I'm wrong. The wound distorts. Blood stains the bandage. I grab it with my left hand and glare at the darkness. The memory from 10 years ago. The words of the man who was my father. Even if I was wrong from the start, there's nothing wrong with the path I took. I wanted to be a superhero so that incident wouldn't just become a sad memory. A time where everyone would be happy and shed no tears. I've held that ideal for 10 years.
なら
It doesn't matter how badly my head refuses to function. What needs to be done is determined from the start. I didn't fight because I became a master. I decided to fight because it's something I can do, and I believed it's something I have to do. I finally remembered the obvious.
遠坂お前がどんなに言っても
If I believed it is right, I'll believe in this path until the very end. I won't stop and I won't let her fight by herself. That's why I will sleep now. I won't let her call me a burden. I'll heal this wound up in one night. And when I wake up in the morning, I'll catch up to her for sure and repay her for what she did that night. Day 11, or should I say February 11, Moonlight. The stone room is illuminated by the morning sun. The light coming in from the ceiling pushes back the darkness. Every entrance and every window is sealed off, but even that cannot block out the sunlight. Even the place that should be covered in darkness benefits from the break of dawn. Ah, no. Entrances and windows are ordinarily used to let things enter and leave. The cracks cannot be covered, and besides, if it is entirely closed off, it cannot fulfill its duty to be used as a passage. If one wants to completely shut out the light, there should not be any entrances. If one prefers darkness, one should go to an underground place without a way to return. In that regard, this underground temple is not perfect. Light exposes all secrets without reservation. The hidden temple was easily discovered, and its master was easily eliminated as well. There are traces of blood on the floor. The original owner of this temple was killed by an intruder. The supervisor of the Holy Grail War, Kotomi Nakire, was removed from the stage by Caster's hand. What are they doing to you, Saber? No! That battle happened a few hours ago. I was gonna say a few years. No. The underground regained its silence. The new master of the church is standing in the darkness, but the winner scorns herself. Caster glares at the darkness with an irritated look. First of all, this temple is unpleasant. Neither the sanctuary nor the secret sanctuary hidden beneath it suit her taste. The intruding light is unpleasant, and the priest she killed was unpleasant as well. And most importantly, the crucial objective has not been accomplished yet. She is shocked at how poorly things are going, and she even considers reducing this whole place to ashes. Fortunately, she refrains from such violence. It is not because she regained her composure, nor is it because of the respect towards the church. She suppressed her emotion only because of the sound. Faint, periodic sounds. A woman's painful voice is like a fine music to her. She forgets her troubles and enjoys the spectacle. The groaning sounds of pain come from a girl. The weak murmur contains heated arousal. The groans would inspire either compassion or sadistic pleasure in those who may hear them. I'm guessing it's the latter, for Caster. It does not need to be said that she falls under the latter category. Oh, see? Look at that. Sweat drips down her forehead. Just watching the beautiful lips gasping in shame seems to bring heat to this cold room.
大したものね、セイバー。レイジの縛りを一晩中拒み続けるなんて、私たちでは考えられないわ。
At the back of the temple, the girl hangs, only able to moan. As long as she opposes the command spell, free will does not exist for Saber. Worse still, a magic so strong that it is a magic so strong that it is visible tortures Saber's body. Wait, is that right? I'm reading that again and I'm like, wait, does that make sense? The command spell pressures her from the inside and Caster's magic tortures her from the outside. The torture is more unbearable than having her body wounded. Saber's reasoning has almost disappeared. Only the last remnants of her pride hold her back. Neither the command spell nor Caster's magic can take away that deep root. Therefore, the torture continues forever. Caster watches the process, how the girl desperately tries to hold her ground. It was Caster that dressed her in this white costume. It is not arousing with her armor, and most of all, the armor does not suit her. If she is an untainted virgin, she should be in a pure white dress when she falls.
けなげなこと。いくらあなたの意志が拒み続けても、サーバントとして作られたその体は別よ。レイジュが少しずつ侵食しているのがわかるでしょ。あなたはあと1日も経たずに私のものになる。ならもう降参して素直になった方が楽じゃなくて
Fight the good fight, Saber. the voice protests painfully. Even though her reasoning is melted, Saber does not yield to Castor. As Castor says, she will endure this torture until the command spell fully controls her body.
強情ねセイバー。ええ、けど許してあげる。私、あなたみたいな娘は好きよ。金の髪も小さな体も少年のような凛々しさも可愛いわ。それに裏切るぐらいなら死を選ぶ一途さも愛らしい。ほんと踏みつぶしてあげたいぐらい。
She looks at the girl with eyes filled with joy and hatred. If Castor puts her mind to it, she could get Saber to surrender in an instant. Saber's freedom is lost from fighting one command spell. Then the result is obvious if Castor uses a second command spell. Saber will become Castor's without the need for such torture. But she will not do such an inelegant thing. Castor should take time training her, since she is a lovely toy. For Castor, Saber is a tool with first-class appearance and ability. It is natural for her to savor this rare jewel.
そうね。霊樹で体を支配するなんて退屈ですもの。あなたには自分から私のサーバントになってもらいましょう。ねえ。体ではなく、先に心を壊してあげる。
Castor glares her bewitching eyes at the girl in the white dress. She almost forgets about the Holy Grail. She thinks about Saber's white skin and imagines transforming her into a slave that only seeks pleasure. Oh, you sick, crazy mage. She will make the girl into a tainted slave to her lusts. She will not do something crude like taking her virginity. She is a virgin. Then she should make her into a virgin that drowns in pleasure. A girl whose body will never be satisfied, greedily seeking pleasure. When she imagines it and smiles.
そこで何をしている、キャスター。
An unemotional voice suddenly calls her from behind. She turns around immediately. Above the temple, someone slowly comes down the stairs that leads outside. A tall, lean figure appears from the darkness. There is no sound of footsteps, nor is there any presence to be felt. The man comes down into the temple and shows no emotion even after seeing the blood on the ground and the girl.
宗一郎様。
Castor changes her attitude right away. Her expression changes from one filled with joy and irritation to that of a tense serving.
なぜここに？あなたには竜道寺にいるようお願いしたはずですが。
質問は私が先だ、キャスター。ここで何をしていると聞いたのだが。
The man, Kuzuki Soichiro, does not change the tone of his voice. The flat voice is more terrifying than any threat. A voice without emotion is like a mirror. A guilty conscience. The voice is more fearful to those with greater guilt. One is questioned not by Kuzuki, but by one's own mind. Castor holds her hands on her chest and reports to Kuzuki. He is not the one that can be fooled. No, she cannot bear to tell a lie to this person.
昨日マスターの一人であるエミヤシローからサーバントを奪いました。エミヤシローは逃しましたが、すでにマスターではありません。賢明な人間ならば私たちに歯向かうことはないでしょう。
I was gonna say, then he's not very smart, but I definitely like his spunk.
そうか。だがそんな指示を下してはいない。
私の独断です、マスター。その後、聖杯の器を手に入れるために教会を襲いました。聖杯の管理役である神父は仕留めましたが、聖杯の行方は不明です。
そちらも独断か。帰還しなかったのは聖杯が見つからなかったからだな。確かにせっかく手に入れた場所だ。肝心のものを手に入れないまま留守にしては意味がない。
Kuzuki's words are not criticizing her, but Castor can only be ashamed of herself. She killed the priest who knew where the Holy Grail was, but she still does not have the Holy Grail. Furthermore, she has revealed her own action which should have been hidden from him. What else can she call it but a total failure?
状況は分かった。理由を説明できるか、キャスター。
申し訳ありません。ですがこれも全てマスターのため。私の目的はあなたを勝利させることだけです。理由などそれ以外にはありません。
A long silence. After hearing Caster's declaration, Kuzuki Soichiro murmurs. I see.
ではここから離れるわけにはいかんな。留守中他のマスターに聖杯を見つけられてはお前の苦労も無駄になる。
ではマスター、
納得のいくまで調べるがいい。それまでは私もここに残ろう。お前一人では戦いに向かん。セーバーが手駒になるまで護衛は必要だろ
いえ、それには及びません。マスターに力を借りずとも手駒はありますし、聖杯の探索とてどれほどかかるか。それにここは危険です。竜道寺に戻られた方があなたの身は安全です。
正論だ。だがそれでは私の目的が果たせなくなる。
Those words are unexpected even for Caster. What kind of objective does this man have, who has no interest even in the Holy Grail, which can grant any wish?
宗一郎様、それは。
急げよ。なければないでいい。成果は問わん。結果だけを出すがいい。
With that, Kuzuki goes back up the stairs. Caster watches him go in blank amusement. The dark room is still silent. The footsteps going up the stairs still cannot be heard. I open my eyes. My eyes are not the only things that wake up, as my sleeping mind wakes up as well.
傷は問題ないな。
I check the wound on my left shoulder. It still hurts, but there's no intense pain like last night. The heat in my body's gone away somewhat. It shouldn't be a problem for me to move around. I ate breakfast and satisfied my hunger. Food comes before anything else. My body won't move unless it gets the nutrition it needs. I reapplied the bandage. The wound has turned dark blue. It hasn't healed up and I can see fresh red meat.
当然だ。今セイバーはいないんだから。
I disinfect it, put gauze over it, and wrap bandages around it. It's a primitive first aid treatment to wrap and constrict the wound, but I have to do this so it won't get any worse.
よし、これで終わり。あとは武器がいるな。
It's cloudy today. It must be really cold as there is frost on the grass outside. But that's meaningless to me. I feel no cold. My body is burning and I want to pour ice water over myself. But this is much better than the condition I was in last night. He's preparing for war, man. Let's go. The only things I can find are wooden swords. I choose the one that looks like it's the best and put it into my shinai bag. I slap my cheeks. I don't know if it's to encourage myself or to reassure myself that I won't be coming back here. I honestly don't know why I did that. I carry the shinai bag over my right shoulder and head outside. The place I've lived at for so long. The shed was like my own room, but I don't turn to look at it. Well, even though I decide to fight, there are many problems. I have to determine clearly what I should do first, or I'll probably end up not getting anything done. There are two courses of action. I meet up with Tosaka or go to the church for advice. Well, seeing as how we just recently learned that Kotomina died, and I still don't like the church as it is because of what resides within it, except for the fact Saber's kidnapped there, but he doesn't know that. I think the next best course of action after I save this is to go and meet up with Tosaka. I'll go find Tosaka. She told me to forfeit. If I'm gonna ignore her advice and fight, I have to make her realize that I'm not gonna give up and that we're still cooperating. And I can't let her fight by herself. I owe her big time. I can't forfeit until I repay her for that.
しかもあいつここ一番で失敗するし、危なっかしくて一人になんてさせておけない。
I adjust the shinai bag on my shoulder. I know it won't be of much help and that she will object, but I can't obtain peace of mind until I see Tosaka's face. This is just a what if. But if she gets injured away from me, I can't even be there to help her. Saber 2. Don't forget her. I sit down on a bench and rest my burning body. It's past noon. I've searched all around Shinto, but I haven't found anything.
くそ。簡単にはいかないと思ったけど、ここまで無反応なんて。
I knew from the start that I had no way to find Tosaka. I let my luck take over and search through the town, but I couldn't find her, nor any traces of her.
他のマスターも出てこない。令状がない以上、ちょっかい出す必要もないってことか。
I sigh and lay back. I'm making no progress like this. Tosaka hasn't left any trace, and my last resort of using myself as bait to lure out the other masters is failing so far. I get a bit uneasy. I might not be able to find Tosaka, and I might not be able to save Saber. They might already be in a terrible situation by the time I find them.
まだ昼だ。そう簡単に行くもんか。
I get back up. I ignore the renewed throbbing in my shoulder and leave the park. I'll search one more time. I'm sure that she's in Shinto. It's just like last night. I don't know why, but I can feel that he is around here. It's not something ambiguous like a premonition. This is certain knowledge like a conviction. And I have a feeling that he is Archer. When did I figure out what the dream was? A desert as far as the eye can see. The numerous swords stuck in the ground do not have a wielder. The sky is stormy and there is no forest, town, or sea within my sight. A hill of blades stretching to infinity. A graveyard of steel without any wielder or bearer. I knew from the start that this is the scenery inside the hero's mind. After many sequences of events, one who becomes a heroic spirit ends up in that place. There are those who left the world loved by people, and there are those who left the world praised as noble kings. There are those who died wanting to fight, and there are those who died in satisfaction. But it seems there are many that have been praised as heroes against their will. If true heroes are those who have legitimately earned the title, these are a different kind. They were forced to the throne of heroes because of their fate, and they should be called Avenger, the anti-hero. They are the opposite of heroes, but they are praised as heroes regardless. Even those that hated humans and those the humans hated are summoned as guardians. But he's neither. He's not a true hero nor a rare anti-hero. He was never compensated for his efforts, and all his own life ended with betrayal, but he never hated humans. But it didn't last. Yes, he probably grew wary. I was mistaken. Heroic spirits, familiars called servants. Humanity's power to control called the guardians. They are summoned into every age to prevent humanity's extinction. But the only condition for their summoning is destruction brought on by humans. Naturally, destruction brought on by an outside factor solved not by human power, but by the world's restraining power. So the only thing the guardian heroic spirits can see is self-destruction. They're an existence that eliminate destruction brought on by human greed. He made a contract with the world to save humans and became a hero. After he died, he became a heroic spirit and was shown humanity's self-destruction over and over again. He is summoned as a heroic spirit to save people, but he only gets to clean up after people's wrongdoings. It did not take long for him to realize that it is meaningless and start loathing the human world. And in the end, he was betrayed by the ideal that he protected unto death.
Rin, どうした？立ちくらみか？
Hearing the call, Tosaka Rin wakes up. She slowly looks around. This is the foreigner cemetery. It's just past 7 o'clock, but there is no one here. Well, the hill with the church is always empty to start with.
ごめん、寝てた。少し疲れてるみたい。
無理もない。昨夜から不眠だったからな。 体調が優れないのならば見合わすか。何も今すぐ仕掛けることはない。
いいえ、時間はかけられない。キャスターの居場所が分かったんならここで決着をつけるべきよ。
After saying so, Rin realizes that her body's warm. Her familiar, Archer, must have kept her warm using his cloak.
なんだ、寝てるって気がついてたんじゃないあなた。なのに起こさないなんて人が悪いわね。
何、立ったまま眠る人間にはそうお目にかかれないのでね。物珍しさでつい観察してしまった。
ますますたちが悪い。女の子の寝顔を見るなんて何様よあんた。
安心したまえ。誓ってそのような無礼はしていない。だが別のものは聞いたな。目は閉じようと思えば閉じられるが、耳はそうはいかないのでな。
そう。私何か言ってたあーちゃん。
ああ、気に食わないだの頭にくるだの、実に物騒なささやきを数件。
なんだ、よかった。
Rin sighs with relief. The dream she saw should not be discussed. She can't have Archer know about it. She likes their relationship. To maintain it, she has to hide the fact that she knows about Archer's past.
行きましょうあーちゃん。教会なら少しは詳しいわ。あそこならどこに隠れているか見当ぐらいつく。
She brushes away Archer's cloak. Archer silently protects from behind her. Then,
ねえあーちゃん、自分のやってきたことを後悔したことってある？
she asks without turning around.
私はできれば最後までしたくない。本当に打ちのめされた時にも歯を食いしばって意地を張り続けたい。けどそれって難しいんでしょうね。きっと私が考えている以上に。
個人差があるな、その手の精神論は。できる者もいればできない者もいる。とりわけ君は前者だ。その手の人間はまず過ちなど起こさないし、自らの過ちなど考えることもない。
何よ、それじゃあ私が傍若無人な暴君みたいじゃない。
いい自己認識だ、リン。鮮やかな人間というものは人より眩しいものを言う。そういった手合いにはな、歯を食いしばる時などないのだ。で、試験だが、君は間違いなくその手合いだ。遠坂凛は最後まであっさりと自分の道を信じられる。
The knight in the red cloak praises her. Rin blushes at his answer, but keeps asking without turning around.
じゃああなたは最後まで自分が正しいって信じられる？
いや、申し訳ないが、その質問は無意味だな。
どうしてよ。答えられないことじゃないでしょこんなの。
She sounds a bit nervous. To that,
最後までという質問が無意味だ。忘れたのかマスター。私の最後はとうの昔に終わっている。
the knight in red gives this reply. I sigh and lean again to sign. I search until the sun set, and the only thing I figured out was how useless I am. The wound on my left shoulder is throbbing with pain. I don't know if it's opened up or if the bandage is getting loose. Either way, I can't spend too much time on their search. It'll end up like last night if I can't find a clue.
あいつどこに行ってるんだ本当。
I recall when I parted ways with her last night. It's already been a day since she told me to run to the church since I can't fight without Saber.
ってそうだ教会。
There is a clue. I thought about it when I started to search this morning. The supervisor of the Holy Grail War. The priest of the church might know where Tosaka is.
あいつの手を借りるのは尺に触るけど、襟好みしてる場合じゃない。
No, I shouldn't go see that priest regardless of my feelings. He's a priest, but Kotomi Nakira is not a man that should be approached. I don't want to go asking for advice, but he's the only one I can count on right now.